along with attendance and participation from community leaders, elected officials, celebrities, business owners, and other notables. KBLA Talk 1580 will host Mayor-elect Bass on the main stage as we reflect on the importance of this moment and what it means for the Black community, women, and all Angelinos who believe in the limitless potential of our amazing city. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and our social media platforms for all the important details. We look forward to celebrating with Mayor-elect Karen Bass and you.
We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now, it's a celebration. Come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you, girl. I really wanna know your name. Whoa, come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you, girl. I really wanna know your name. Oh yeah. Woo. You look so sexy. You really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl. You look so sexy. You really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Typically, we would do our Wealth Building Wednesday right here, and I want to say about that, keep your eye on Black Xmas. Black Xmas is, you can find it at BLM Grassroots on Instagram, on Twitter, as long as it continues to exist. BLM Grassroots is Black Lives Matter, and this is an initiative for verified Black-owned stores, restaurants, vendors, so that you can spend your holiday bucks recycling Black dollars whenever possible. So look for Black Xmas. That's my Wealth Building Wednesday tip of the day. So Dr. Rosie Milligan, speaking of entrepreneurs, a bookstore owner and the Black Writers on Tour founder who called just before news, traffic, and sports. And she was talking about a couple things I want to highlight before I pass the mic back. It's a really good point about Mayor-elect Bass. I think for me, I saw that the survey said, well, if the new mayor hasn't done anything about houselessness within 2 years, I'd be willing to recall. But why are you asking that question? I mean, that is a really good point. Like, maybe a question would be, what do you expect to be done within the first 2 years? Or what are the most important steps to you? Or what would you think would be recalling? And I felt worth recalling. And I feel like this whole recall fever that's taken over California is a side door for Republicans who cannot get their agenda through the main electorate, through voting, because they do not have the majority in California. So they try to sneak in the side door, waste taxpayer money with recall. So it's a good point. Why are you even asking that? This is not to say that Congresswoman Karen Bass won't make a difference in the first 2 years. I believe she will. I believe she'll make a difference in the first year. But she's not going to solve a problem that's been years and years in the making, which is a great observation. Rosie Milligan, you were talking about the reasons people are unhoused, some of the shenanigans that go on with these apartments, what we consider affordable, which should be 1/3 or less of your income, right? That should be affordable, not based on somebody else's income, based on your income. And I know you weren't done making those points, so I'm handing the microphone back to you.
Okay, and who are the watchdogs with these apartment owners that saying how many people they're really putting in there, even what they call low income? When we look at the reason that people are homeless, you can just cite this apartment they built on 43rd and Crenshaw. The one bedrooms, they didn't even put closets in it. The city have just relaxed all the rules. Now, I've been dealing with real estate for years, and if you didn't have a closet in a room, it wasn't considered a bedroom.
Right.
But they built those that didn't even have a closet and calling it a bedroom. Now, here they want 2.5 times your income need to be 2.5 times what the rent is. This is what pushing people to homelessness. Then they looking at not relaxing the thing with credit. A lot of people lost their credit during the pandemic. There's so many things that causing people to be homeless, and that is corrected. I don't care how many apartments you build. If you want a person, you want to charge $1,800 for a one bedroom, and you want the person living in this community where you're building it to earn 2.5 times $1,800. Come on, this is craziness. I mean, a third grader have more sense than that, can look through this. This thing is set up to try to get people out of this city, I guess, I don't know, out of this world. But we need to really think and look at all the reasons, Dominique, that causes people to be homeless.
Really great points. Really great points, Dr. Rosie. I mean, first of all, I'd say that ULA is a step in the right direction because we passed that and because it was partially crafted by some of these community-based organizations like LA Can. So one of the things it does is help people keep from getting evicted by offering, assistance through that process, legal counsel through that process, looking at how we could keep people in their apartments that are already there, and also allows building on pre-existing structures rather than having to build everything from scratch. That said, I know what you're saying. If you live in South LA or probably most any city, you look around and you see all of these apartments being built. Clearly, they're not being built for us. They're out of the price range of most people in our community. Why is that being allowed? It's being done by these people that think of housing only as a business, not as a human need or a human right. So that has to be changed. And I look at something like what some of the measures that Mayor Raz Baraka is doing in Newark. And it's not just because he's my brother that I talk to him talk about him all the time. He is a pragmatic progressive, one who gets things done. This idea that there have to be lots of limitations on these big corporations buying and building strictly for profit in our communities, and that there have to be incentives for mom and pop homeowners to buy the community, for people that live in the community, families and individuals that have history there, to be able to get those buildings and apartments. That's the kind of thing we're going to have to look at. And I believe, the will is there, the political will, because I'm starting to see more and more Black people buying up parts of South LA, parts of Leimert Park, in the middle of this intense gentrification. I feel like LA, could be a model in that sense, because I'm from the San Francisco, where there's no Black people hardly left at all. When I was a kid, we were there. And you see it in DC. LA seems to be pushing back more. And LA's not the only place in the country where Black folks have money. So, that's part of it. But I think you're right. Who is the watchdog? Continuing this conversation with Rosie Milligan and you, 800-920-1580. What does it take to overcome the unhoused crisis? If you think this is just a California problem, you're not paying attention. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
This year marks 10 years strong of Covered California providing quality, affordable health insurance. Celebrate with us at the Community Wellness Fair on Tuesday, November 29th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Center of Hope Church, located at 9550 Crenshaw Boulevard in Inglewood. Enjoy an afternoon of free health screenings, various community resources, giveaways, and free lunch while supplies last. Enrollers will be on site to answer questions and help with the enrollment process. Covered California is looking forward to celebrating 10 years strong with the community next Tuesday, November 29th. See you there.
The Institute for Diversity Certification is all about the 3 Ds: dedication, determination, and discipline. Learn more about our globally recognized diversity certification program today by calling 1-800-983-6192. Again, 1-800-983-6192, or visit diversitycertification.org. As the #1 organization for certified diversity professionals and also certified diversity executive credentials, diversitycertification.org will provide an opportunity for you to demonstrate dedication to the field, determination to make progress, and more discipline to your process. Go today and learn more about the diversity certification system. Call 1-800-983-6192. Again, 1-800-983-6192. Or go to diversitycertification.org. That's diversitycertification.org. The standard of excellence, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
King C. Gillette is the modern man's answer to their facial hair. With a complete set of precision tools, the King C. Gillette line offers the perfect fit for your facial hairstyle. Want to try something great? Try the Style Master, the quintessential styling tool that every man needs to craft their style. It's a waterproof, cordless trimmer with a long-lasting 4-directional blade. It's extremely versatile and designed to edge, trim, and stubble in 4 directions on any hair length. Master your style with King C. Gillette.
Favorite family tradition? Shopping Kohl's Black Friday with my mom. We earned extra Kohl's cash, got a Google Nest Hub for $49.99, a Fitbit for just $99.99. Plus, I found a pizza grill for $179.99, and she got a fire pit for the same price. Not to mention the 15% off other great deals. Yeah, we're going back to Kohl's for round 2. Select styles. Offers valid through November 25th. Cuisinart, Google, and Fitbit coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Oh, I guess we lost. Dr. Rosie, you're welcome to call back. Love to hear from you, or you. 800-920-1580. To your point, I think about immigrants and houselessness. Similar to Terry's point, actually, it's a common misperception because I've had this call many, many times over the years on my various radio shows that immigrants, people, especially African Americans, but and some Republicans, think that when immigrants come here, they're given money and housing and all these perks. And that's not actually true in most cases. So what we have is a big immigrant homeless population that isn't talked about and is largely not focused on because they try to be out of the spotlight because some of them don't have papers. They don't want to be deported. The percentage of people experiencing homelessness in LA County is now at 44% for Latinos, 44%. Now, I'm not assuming that all Latinos are immigrants. Many Latine people were born and raised in LA, but a significant number of those folks are immigrants. And that is the one group which saw their unhoused numbers jump by double digits last year. The number of Latino people experiencing homelessness increased by 26% since last year. The number of immigrants who are unhoused has been going up for years. And a lot of times what happens when people come here seeking financial, improvement for their families or themselves or fleeing violence and gangs, they actually end up not getting the work, not being able to find housing because we know how expensive it is and how difficult it is to get in, and they land on the streets. Those guys that you see looking for work at some of these big box stores like the Home Depot, many of them are unhoused. They're sleeping on the streets somewhere and showing up during the day trying to get a job. So I think this assumption that somehow, now it is true, African Americans are overrepresented drastically and dramatically in the unhoused population. And the reasons are obvious. I mean, racism, discrimination at work, less pay for the same work, discrimination in housing, on and on it goes. We know these things. We know that black people make up the vast majority of unhoused people. Some of those may also be immigrants. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen those numbers. I haven't done that research yet. but I was looking into it during news, traffic, and sports because this is a point that I consistently hear over and over again. And when we look at the unhoused persons crisis in our nation, it is predominantly BIPOC people. There's also a growing number of disabled folks on the streets, not receiving care. And many of those are the ones that end up dying on these streets. The other population surging into homelessness, and this hurts my heart, is seniors, elders. Now imagine, now that Republicans have gained control of the House of Representatives, one of the top things on their agenda is gutting Social Security and Medicare. What do you think that's going to do to seniors? That's going to push more people into houselessness. People that don't see a difference between the parties boggle my mind. Just take this as an example. Your agenda is to give more money back to rich people by tax cuts for the rich and cut Social Security rather than making rich people pay their fair share so that we can shore up Social Security. Many people are only not on the streets because of Social Security, and still they're barely eking by, right? And we're talking about primarily black and brown people, but also poor people who don't have pensions or 401ks, 501ks, or 401ks, or IRA accounts to keep them going in their elder years. Huge growth in the population of the unhoused right now is seniors. And that is a shame. It's a shame. It's a national embarrassment. It's a moral failing of our nation. A wealthy nation, a wildly wealthy nation, who should be doing just the kind of thing we've done with ULA in every single city to tax those huge transactions of real estate to help put other folks in homes. Okay, Dr. Rosie, I'm giving you the last word in our conversation here.
Okay, Dominique, what I wanted to say also, it is really important that community have an impact on who build and what build in our community.
Yes.
I mean, when they come in, tearing down a house and putting up 8 units and no parking, but this what happened with the corrupt in downtown, in the city council, in the city hall for allowing this to happen. They just kind of shut the community out. And that's why when you call meetings, a lot of people don't even want to come because they feel like, well, we don't have no voice. They're going to do what they want to do. But we got to wake up this year and say they are not going to do what they want to do. We're going to have to stand on the wall and put in some energy and start working from home. Black folks started working from home before COVID. Sitting at home talking about what they ought to do, and you sitting on your butts, don't go to a meeting, don't do anything. We got to get up and fight. If you care about your children, you better get up and do something. Anybody on Social Security, if they sell the property in Dominique, they're going to be homeless. Most people, a lot of people not even getting $1,000 for Social Security.
Yeah, you can't live on it. I mean, I'm glad to see there will be a bump, but that's only because the cost of living increase. Dr. Rosie makes some great points. Always good to talk with you.
Thank you, Dominique.
Dr. Rosie Milligan with the call to action, right? So what are we going to do about it? I do think the fact that in Los Angeles we've kicked many incumbents out of office is a wake-up call. I think the fact that we are going to drive Kevin De Leon out of office is a wake-up call for the corruption. The fact that Jose Huizar will be going on trial in February for corruption, specifically around real estate development, should be a call to action and a wake-up call. And I believe we should ban campaign contributions from developers. I don't know how anyone would get elected, but they'd have to figure it out. But I just don't see how you can be 100% unbiased in dealing with the housing crisis when you are beholden to folks whose money comes from profiting off of housing. Fahima from Washington, D.C. Happy Wednesday.
Habari gani and que pasa, Dominique?
Habari gani reciprocity, Fahima. What's up with you? How you doing?
Well, Dominique, I'm sure you know that I'm a social worker by profession. And a few years ago, and I want to share something anecdotally. A few years ago, I worked part-time for a program called Georgetown Ministries, where during the hypothermia period, which typically would be September to March, but due to climate change, it fluctuates. But during the hypothermia period, they would host a finite number of homeless community members at various churches throughout Georgetown and provide them with shelter at night, breakfast, and dinner. And the majority of the homeless people that were in this program were from all parts of the world. Many were from Eastern Europe, many from Ethiopia. There were a few people who were African American, but the large percentage were white people who were from America. And interesting, I don't mean to be conspiratorial, but many of the white folks had this hustle. One guy used to house sit when he wasn't in the program, and a number of them had these contract jobs at the State Department. I'm not sure what they did. But there were people from all over the world who were homeless. And we had a handful of Black Americans, but the majority of them were from other parts of the world. And there was a large portion who were white. And again, this is anecdotal. So this it's somewhat of a misnomer that, homeless people are getting all of the, that immigrants are getting all of these perks. Because, these folks were, they were getting services through Georgetown Ministry, which is a benevolent organization of clergy in Georgetown. And there were people from all over the world who were homeless that were getting services through Georgetown Ministry. Now, maybe a lot of Americans didn't know about this program, but the majority of them were from people from all over the world. So I know this is anecdotal, but the majority of people that are homeless are from different walks of life. And as a social worker, I know that if you are not an American citizen, you cannot get entitlements. You are not eligible for all of these scholarships. I've had students who were DACA, and they had to bust their butts and work and to pay their tuition because they couldn't get any financial aid. So there's a misnomer that immigrants are getting all of these perks.
Yeah. I know it's anecdotal. Here in Los Angeles, we do have, and I'm not sure how this plays out across the nation, but we do have 8% of the population and more like 35% of the homeless population are Black. So we're insanely disproportionately represented in houselessness as Black people. But I think we're not aware of the unhoused immigrants. And one of the things that I would mention to people like, Rosie and others is that there, just as you've pointed out, Fahima, there are certain shelters, emergency shelters and meal services that are happening inside the Latina community that we may not be aware of because they're not targeting us. They're Spanish speaking or whatever. And so we don't necessarily see those unhoused people who are immigrants, or we might not know they're immigrants. They could be Black and unhoused. So I think those assumptions come from just what we see with our eyes in our own circles, and it doesn't turn out to be true if you look at the data.
Yeah, and the thing is that here in D.C., a large portion of the homeless population are people who are Black, but at the same time, people are homeless for different reasons, and they get services from different places. As I mentioned, in Georgetown, there are folks who are white and who are from different parts of the world. But I just want to dispel this misnomer that, all the homeless people were Black people all over the world, and that the immigrants are getting all of these entitlements, which is not true.
Well, we have white homeless people in L.A. too. And what's weird, I was talking to a friend about this is you never saw European Americans unhoused in South L.A., right? Which is where most of the Black folks and Latino people live until recently. And what they were tracking is the fact that just as we've seen unhoused people dumped at hospitals, being dumped from other jurisdictions, from Orange County, they're being dumped on Skid Row, the same thing is happening now where they're bringing unhoused people to South LA. We never used to have a lot of unhoused people here, at least not on the streets. They might have been couch surfing. Now they're being brought here and dumped here. And so now you see a lot of unhoused white folks in neighborhoods that don't even have white residents.
Well, I don't know if it's happening. I don't know if it's happening now, but years ago, I hear that they used to give people bus tickets to go to places like California and Florida who were homeless.
Right now, they give them a whole bus, right? If you're the Governor Abbott of Texas, you just pack up a whole bus and drop them in Philly or Martha's Vineyard or New York City. And that is insanely inhumane, unfair, and political dirty tricks-ish.
All right, Dominique, I'm going to sign off and continue to listen, and you have a happy Giving's Day tomorrow.
Thank you, Fahima. I shall. I hope you do as well. And I hope that all of us are taking a walk around the block, maybe 2-3 times today, 2-3 times tomorrow in the morning. You could go for whatever makes you feel good. Do your maximum. Get your metabolism moving before you put all that food in there. Get your metabolism moving. Get your body system de-stressed before your loved ones come and stress you out. Or maybe it's your football game that stresses you out. Whatever it is, right? So let's do that. No one pledged this except me, and I'm doing it. So join me. If you haven't done it yet, let's do today, tomorrow, and Friday. Walk or go lift some weights, do some yoga, move something before you put the fork or the spoon into your mouth. Love to hear from you, and we got to catch up on a bunch of stuff. What is going on with Beyond Meat? Speaking of what's on our plate and the settlement for the family of Rayshard Brooks. We'll touch on that when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. We're following breaking news out of Chesapeake, Virginia.
He shot when he first came in. It didn't even look real until you could feel when the gun goes off.
At least 7 people are dead and several others injured following a mass shooting at a Walmart store.
And the suspect is dead from what we believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We have reason to believe that there's no risk to the public at this time.
Most of the injured were taken to Centerra Norfolk General Hospital. One of the victims is a 20-year employee of the Walmart.
And I've been on the phone with a few other friends who are former employees and customers. And we're all in just disbelief.
Stay with the Black Information Network. We'll have continuing coverage of this mass shooting just hours before the Thanksgiving holiday. That's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on the Black Information Network.
Got the Sigler still in Fontana, 10 westbound for Cherry Avenue. 3 left lanes are still closed. That's been shut down all morning. Traffic stops at Cedar Avenue. Also got the Sigler now in Sherman Oaks on the 101 northbound past Van Nuys Boulevard. Overturned Bigwig has shut down the 4 right-hand lanes, so the 101 a mess from the 134. 134 westbound also tough as you approach the 101 freeway. And you've got a crash in Anaheim on the 57 southbound for Cattell Avenue. That's got the left lane shut down. Right now the 57 freeway is stop and go from Ball Road.
At In-N-Out, our hamburgers are made with the highest quality ingredients, made fresh and by hand, made with a smile, and made to order just for you.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers wasted another outstanding performance by Anthony Davis. They lose by 10 last night in Phoenix. Davis had 37 points and 21 rebounds. It's the 4th straight game AD has had at least 30 points and 15 rebounds. The NBA is going to take some money out of Patrick Beverley's bank account. Beverley was ejected late in the 4th quarter for knocking Phoenix center DeAndre Ayton to the floor after play had stopped. Beverley was given a flagrant 1 foul, which comes with an automatic fine. Don't Don't be surprised if Beverly also gets a suspension. The Clippers won't have Kawhi Leonard or Paul George for tonight's game in Golden State. Leonard has a sprained right ankle. PG is still nursing a sore hamstring. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're a slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call on me, your MVP.
Congratulations to this week's KBLA Talk 1580's Office of the Week, Community Legal Aid SoCal. Advocates for justice in Orange and Los Angeles counties. Congratulations, Community Legal Aid SoCal.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
On Saturday, December 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., come out and enjoy a free community health fair, co-sponsored by Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Health Ministry and the Central Neighborhood Health Foundation. The fair will be held on the church grounds at 2009 West Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, with free health screenings, refreshments, jumpers for the kids, a visit from Santa, entertainment with a DJ, free food giveaway for the first 100 people who attend, as well as raffles and other prizes. There will also be open enrollment, health insurance representatives present. Attendees can get free blood pressure, glucose, HIV and STD testing, a dental screening, fluoride varnish, COVID testing, vaccines and boosters. Flu shots will also be offered. Housing navigation, mental health support, and education services will be available. Don't miss this free community health fair. Tell somebody and receive the gift of preventative health services this season. See you all on Saturday, December 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2009 West Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Los Angeles.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, reminding you, when we fight, we win. Central CSO organizes for the rights of the undocumented, quality public education, and supporting in solidarity other communities seeking social justice. Central CSO stands for Chicano X, self-determination, defending public education, and fighting for all oppressed people in Boyle Heights and East Los Angeles. Find Central CSO meetings every third Wednesday. Visit online at centralcso.wordpress.com or on Instagram at CentralCS. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not ratings driven. We're engagement driven. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Check it out.
Yes, indeed. The Atlanta City Council will pay $1 million to the family of Rayshard Brooks. That was a really, really, really sad killing in 2020 when we were marching all the time. Still marching. Maybe not all the time, but he was 27. He was shot. Remember that situation where the officers were actually talking to him for a really long time and then end up killing him when he should have just been given a ride home. And the city council approved it unanimously, 15-0. So the family has at least, it doesn't bring your loved one back, but at least there is a settlement. A special prosecutor had been appointed to go into that case and said that the use of deadly force was objectively reasonable. But if you watched, there were some tapes that there's just no way that was reasonable. That was a case, it was a textbook case of where we should have seen the use of de-escalation instead of escalation. Brazil's version of Donald Trump, Jair Bolsonaro, lost the election to the progressive Lula da Silva. But, now, of course, I was saying, well, their fascist is better than our fascist because he appeared that he was going to stand down. But now he's starting the old big lie playbook, saying that there was a software bug, and that means they should void all the votes from the electronic voting machines, which would shockingly make him the winner. He'd have 51% of the votes. If they did that, they are not going to do that. That election has already been certified, but I think Brazil may be going down the path of the United States with the election denying. And I'm not surprised because Bolsonaro, who is, as president, seemed to be doing everything he could to destroy the rainforest so that we could all have no air to breathe. Had it said before the election, he sort of had indicated that he was planning to take the Donald Trump playbook and just lie. I won. The sore loser. Joe Biden announced yesterday that they're going to pause the student loan payment again. So you don't have to pay your student loan because the Biden administration had ordered loan forgiveness. Millions of Americans had applied for that forgiveness. And then your friendly neighborhood Republicans decided to challenge it in court because they hate it when people who need money get money. They hate it when poor people, middle class people, working class people, and students get money. They only like to give huge tax breaks to the very wealthy. So they're suing to stop student loan relief. I mean, how awful of a person you have to be to do that. That's what they're doing. You wanted to vote for them. That's what you're voting for. Anyway, what the White House has decided is that while they fight off this legal challenge, they're going to extend the pause. So you don't have to pay your student loan now until 60 days after the lawsuit is finished. Once they resolve the lawsuit, 60 days thereafter, the payments will be due again. But if they haven't finished it by the end of June, you're going to have to start 60 days after that. So it'll really be end of August or 60 days after settlement, whichever comes first. I think that's smart, really wise action on the part of the Biden administration. And I hope that the American public understands why they're not getting the relief that they should be getting right now, that they've applied to, where that's coming from. The very people that want to give tax breaks to the rich and stop you from voting. Didn't get a chance to talk about this. Attorney General Merrick Garland has named a special counsel to oversee the Justice Department's Donald Trump crime family investigations. The investigation around the former president stealing classified and non-classified information and taking it to Mar-a-Lago, as well as the January 6th investigation. So now there's a special counsel. This is the only president in our history who's had two of these special counsels. Of course, you remember the Mueller investigation, now this. He's also the only one that's been impeached twice. And hopefully he won't be the only one to be elected twice. But that's serious business. Now you've got the Justice Department appointing a special counsel. Hasn't been a great week for the Orange Menace. He's also, the court, it seems like they're going to stop this special counsel madness because after the FBI carried out the search warrant and took back this stuff that doesn't belong to the Donald that was at Mar-a-Lago, that he had lied about, his counsel had lied about, said they had given everything back. There was still a bunch of stuff there. I mean, they were actually searching in Melania's shoe boxes. And a judge that was appointed by Trump gave him a special counsel, Judge Aileen Cannon. She appointed that special master. And they're saying she acted without precedent and that there is no basis for it since there wasn't any indictment or anything yet. And so it looks like he's going to lose his special counsel. Why is that bad news for Trump, aside from the fact that he wanted a special counsel and he gets mad when he doesn't get what he wants? It's because it will speed up the ability to investigate the crimes around his stealing of those documents. So it moves him closer and closer to criminal accountability for a tiny portion of the crimes that he did while he was in office and continues to do. The crazy thing is, so many of the other crimes he's gotten away with so far. The emoluments, profiting off of the presidency, his family profiting off of the presidency, the Trump University grift, the sexual assault, serial sexual assault and sex pest allegations, all of those he's gotten out scot-free, but yet he continues to face incredible legal jeopardy. On top of that, the Supreme Court, the extreme court, the far right-wing court, is saying that the tax returns of Trump can be turned over to the January 6th committee. Of course, you notice they stalled for 3 years. Now they're handing it over right when the Republicans have taken over Congress, which means the January 6th committee is going to go away. It doesn't give them a lot of time to do anything with those tax returns, but it is still quite a victory for the January 6th committee, for the American people, as we get closer to having a full understanding of the extent of the crimes by the 45th president and his family. He's going to have to hand over 6 years of tax returns, while the Treasury Department will hand them over to the House Ways and Means Committee, which is still controlled by Democrats at this time. And, that is great news for America. Not such great news for Mr. Trump. I can only imagine the family conversation around the giant Burger King feast that's probably going to be taking place at Mar-a-Lago. Diet Coke and Burger King flavored turkey. So yeah. And on top of that, Lindsey Graham testified before a grand jury in Georgia around what? Yet another set of crimes that the 45th president is facing for his election tampering, his attempts to overturn the legitimate results of our election. And of course, that special grand jury is investigating these efforts to cheat at the election. And now Lindsey Graham has talked to them. He talked for 2 hours and said he answered all of the questions. He said he felt he was treated with respect, professionalism, and courtesy. And hopefully he spilled the beans. All so much to look forward to in our political discourse in the year ahead. We've got more to cover, and you are welcome to join in 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580, where we're amplifying Black and progressive voices all the time.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Yvonne Wheeler appointed new president of the LA County Federation of Labor. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. November 21st made it official. Yvonne Wheeler was elected the new president of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor. The historic unanimous vote by her peers makes Wheeler the first ever Black woman to hold the title, and this makes her one of the most influential people in Los Angeles politics. The LA Fed is the second largest central labor body in the nation. It's a federation of over 300 affiliated union and labor organizations that represent more than 800,000 members. LA Fed is known for fighting better wages, establishing respect in the workplace, and the vast political influence their endorsements hold. Wheeler's election comes in the wake of a political scandal involving former LA Fed President Ron Herrera and 3 city council members where they were recorded making racist remarks during a meeting about redistricting. Follow KBLA on social media at KBLA 1580.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
When you're the victim of a car accident, who goes to bat for you is crucial. We're MVP Accident Attorneys, the personal injury pros. Hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review. Call 833-MVP-WINS.
Call on me, your MVP.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Thank you for getting back to me. Hey, in the last hour, we're going to talk relationships with some of my opinionated friends, most particularly. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions, too, especially if you have strong ones. Everyone got their relationship philosophies. Love to hear about yours, 800-920-1580. So getting back to some of these topics I want to touch on, unless you call, of course, we'll talk about what you have on your mind. But look, I got a lot of stuff going on that we haven't had a chance to unpack. It's so crazy. This is the holiday season, but yet the news cycle does not slow down. The news cycle doesn't give a rat's behind about your days off. So activists, LGBTQ plus activists and advocates are saying that Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett should recuse herself from a big gay rights case that's coming down the pike because, she is the real life Handmaid's Tale. She's part of a cult, I guess you could call it, a religious cult, and had reached a level of handmaid. And one of the things this religion believes, they kick you out for having homosexual sex, as they put it, or gay sex. And this is a case 303 Creative versus Lennis that's coming up. We'll see. Certainly Clarence Thomas did not recuse himself. She said, that gay marriage is against her religion. Lori Smith, this website developer, Christian website developer, she says that her free speech was impinged upon because she was required to do projects that are against her religious beliefs in regarding same-sex marriage. It's the Hobby Lobby all over again. And it's really indicative of the scandal that came out over the weekend, where we found out that the Supreme Court not only is, under the influence of some of these right-wing groups, but also has leaked opinions which may have helped them in cases like Hobby Lobby, in which denies people contraception under their insurance if their employer has a religious objection to it. So basically what the Supreme Court leaked and set up was this idea that you can get away with pretty much everything as long as you say it's against your religion. You can take away people's rights as long as you say it's against your religion. And that may have helped the Hobby Lobby folks to win. Justice Clarence Thomas didn't recuse himself around the Arizona case of the overturning of the presidential vote, even though his wife was one of the conspiracy theorists. And the only good thing about this is that it's now waking the American people up to what a partisan bunch of hacks our Supreme Court justices have become. Yes, indeed. We're continuing our conversation. I want to talk about FTX and Beyond Meat. I said I was going to talk about that. Oh, it's not good news for vegetarians, vegans, but maybe it can be fixed. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where truth prevails. The tricky station is down the dial. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here with Dom Kennedy at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. They're here to promote generational wealth building in Black communities. He's an independent rapper and the owner of OPM record label. Dom Kennedy, why do you find it important to be here today at this event with Chase?
For me, we've been having a lot of conversations with them, and giving me a lot of good facts and a lot of good feedback that I felt like needed to be shared. And if people heard it, they would take to the information and it would help them on their quest to be homeowners and just better off financially across the board. They like my perspective, and being an artist and somebody that people knew that was born and raised in LA, people older and like bank managers could kind of be a little intimidating, I guess, to everyday people, especially that has never purchased a home. So just the angle of me being able to communicate it and make the story real, I guess for the younger people was a great opportunity, and I didn't want to pass on.
That's awesome. So answer me this. Why is it important for companies like Chase to promote generational wealth in Black and brown communities?
Keep it real. They make a lot of money off the Black and brown communities. I look at it like it's a great responsibility for them to take on, to want to share some knowledge and some facts and try to put more people in homes, and give them a shot at and a chance at generational wealth. I think it's beneficial to both parties,
I'm Maisha Cairo, and that was Dom Kennedy. Stay tuned for more tips from Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes? Ugh. Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? Ugh. When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in one wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Of course, Justice Alito has denied tipping off the Reverend Rob Schenck and others about the way they were going to rule in the Hobby Lobby case, but that doesn't seem credible, especially the way that they presented their case and the outcomes, and it is shameful. It is, it's an affirmation that the court needs reform. It needs reform. We need more justices. We need term limits. We need reform, and hopefully that moves us a step closer. Sad that we have another mass shooting, and it's not even the top of my headlines because they have become so common. A shooter opened fire at a Walmart in Virginia last night. 6 people are dead. 4 people are in the hospital. It's the second big mass killing in just the past week. And the gunman apparently shot himself as well. He was found dead at the scene. Police are still investigating. They don't know the motives. They don't know who was in the store. But they do know he was apparently a Walmart employee. Those of you following the World Cup know that Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. If you don't know a lot about soccer, which I don't, but I know enough to know that's a really big deal. Argentina is the perennial favorite, and they lost to the Saudis. This is such a big deal that it's being compared to just a handful of other shocking upsets, such as Cameroon's 1-0 win over Argentina back in 1990. Now, you know when they're going back to 1990 to compare your loss, it's a rough one. And a wake-up call for Argentina. Meanwhile, the fact that it's happening and all this happening in Qatar is creating other challenges, like the fact that you can't get beer. And apparently people who wear anything with rainbow gay stuff on it is not being allowed into the matches, which is insane. Okay, Beyond Meat is under fire because their factories apparently are really nasty. One factory in particular just shows dirty conditions, mold on the outside of the containers where they cook the stuff up, mix the stuff up, listeria, all kinds of food safety issues. This is a huge problem. Listeria will make you sick. And apparently they've tested products from Beyond Meat from this one plant and found listeria 11 different times, which is rare because usually it doesn't get into the food itself, even if it's on the equipment. It's because they're trying to speed up the production of these faux meats so that they can bring the price down. Because right now, real meat is less expensive than plant-based meat. It does make me want to stick with actual chickens. I know that those conditions can also be rough. However, maybe the thing is to just go plant-based with actual plants, or go organic, free range as much as you can. Hey, grow your own. That's a trend here. But the description of the inside of this Beyond Meat factory, it just doesn't make, this is in Pennsylvania, doesn't make me want to have a plant-based burger for the holidays. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we're talking cuffing season. We're talking relationships, your theories, your thoughts when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica,